Hello, welcome again to Point Counterpoint, the 46360 show. The opinions expressed by the show's host, myself, Dwayne Perry, and Anthony Tony Hendricks will many times conflict, thus the title, Point Counterpoint. Point Counterpoint is a weekly issue show for our area. Point Counterpoint always lets you judge for yourself. We live in an information free-for-all. It's hard to see through all the misinformation and get to the accurate facts, what is right and best for our community. We will not libel, discriminate, or disrespect anyone or their views. We believe in the constitutional First Amendment, right of free speech, and we support anyone who voices their opinion as part of their duty to their community. This program brings you just that, an unedited, honest, candid discussion of issues. The producers of Point Counterpoint are solely responsible for the content of the show. We take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by our guests or for the information they gather from public sources. All individuals on the show are responsible for their statements and opinions. We will adhere to all applicable federal, state, and local regulations concerning limits of public speech and program content. The intent of this show is to thoroughly research current issues that affect our community, present the facts surrounding the issues, discuss the pros and cons, then present to our viewing audience what we together or individually feel is the best solution for both the community and the public. Point Counterpoint 46360 show is the property of its producers, Dwayne Perry and Anthony Tony Hendricks, and may not be rebroadcast without the written permission of its producers. The producers take no responsibility for the opinions of others in the posting of comments in chat rooms, blogs, video logs, forum posts, or other media. We welcome and encourage ideas and suggestions for the show. We can be reached at 46360show@excite.com. Our shows will air on Comcast Cable Access and will be rebroadcast by us on YouTube under the label Point Counterpoint 46360 show. Again, welcome to Point Counterpoint, the 46360 show, brought to you by Dwayne Perry and Anthony Tony Hendricks. We hope you enjoy the topics, our discussion, and the show. Well, let's get started. Tony, what do we have on our agenda for today?
Well, first we better tell them that we are, again, not in the studio, so apologize for anything that might happen on the show. Thanks to Alco for, if you've seen our last show, I think they did some editing. It's very nice. We are a super secret location here in Michigan City, but our topics today, neighborhood identification. I'm going to pick a neighborhood.
Elston Grove.
Elston Grove. Want to get to Elston Grove. Interstate highways becoming toll roads. We read about that in the paper. We dig, and boy, we dig, right? We dig and dig on the internet. We got some stuff for you. Pedestrian safety in Michigan City. We're going to keep on doing this one. A couple minutes or 5 minutes, whatever it takes. We're going to keep bringing this one here. Ohio Street project update, and Michigan City's tax abatement program, and I got to apologize, I didn't do enough research on the tax abatement. But let's go to the neighborhood. Elston Grove. How much was Elston Grove? 20 million?
I don't know. I have the bond information. I was going to mention that later. Elston Grove was.
We bonded Elston Grove.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
I did not know that. I thought we paid for it.
No, it's going to be paid off in 2028.
I thought we paid for that.
No, we did not.
Oh, wow. Thank you. So Elston Grove, we spent a bunch of money, we redid the streets. I'd say it looks nicer. I don't know if it was worth the, whatever, 20 million. I don't remember what the number was. It was a lot of money. But we want to bring it up because if you notice, there's silt fence for erosion and soil, and there's excavators out in sight at Memorial. So we know what they're doing, right?
Oh, yeah. The new 50-unit apartment complex. Oh, wow. And that's in the Elston Grove neighborhood.
So we'll see what happens. But my understanding is, I think it's Section 8 and Section 42 cannot be denied.
That is correct.
They were going to build apartments and some commercial stores or something down there on Memorial. Is this another return to the, how do you say this nicely? To the buildings at the park that we just built. Well, we just tore those down, and it was not a fun place to live or be.
No.
Are we going down that road
The
again?
housing project. You know, I want to emphasize to our audience that Tony and I are sensitive people. We don't, when we refer to projects like this upcoming project, when we say it's going to be low-income housing, people that are in that classification are in that, they're not like lepers. They're not in that through anything, because of anything they've done. You've probably heard me say many times, looking at IRS statistics, that the median income in Michigan City per family, median income per family, 2 people working, is about $37,000, which is not even 2 $10 an hour jobs. And we keep harping on bringing better jobs to Michigan City so that we can raise the community up. And so people, you have to have places to live where you can afford to live. And unfortunately, Michigan City is becoming such a low-income community that we have to provide housing for people who can't afford to own property. People will say, I've heard people say, well, make this property condos or make it houses that you sell. As long as they're for sale, you're not going to have low-income housing. But a lot of people can't afford to buy a brand new bungalow or a bigger home. And we need quality housing in the community. So we're not discriminating in what we say. We're just stating facts.
Well, I'm concerned because I'm in that point. It should be condos or townhomes. Like what's the other Commerce? Not Commerce.
Commerce Square is ownership. The condos down right on the harbor are ownership. When you say condo or townhouse, usually you have to buy it.
They own those. And, well, the point is that these aren't going to be low income. These are going to be supposedly $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a month rent. And they say, well, that will keep people out, but that's not what Section 8 or Section 42 is.
No, it's not.
They have people who have lower incomes, which you just said is Michigan City, and they get subsidies or tax breaks, substantial.
So that they can afford to live in that.
Yes, you can look at Paz Road, big apartment complex out there.
Canterbury.
Canterbury.
Yeah.
Those aren't cheap. If those people had a choice, would they live in Paz Road, or would they live in these nice new ones down here by the library? I would say they're going to move to the nice new ones, and you can't say no. It's illegal. So here we go. Those people are living out there who can't afford a home and need government assistance, and they're getting a nice place to live. Where do you think?
Which they deserve.
They can take their money anywhere they want, and if they so choose, they can live here at the new apartments, brand new apartments,
Right downtown.
right downtown again. My opinion is
It's kind of conflicting actions.
We
I
need
mean,
ownership.
the current administration is spending so much money in the downtown area to make it trendy, to make it appealing to visitors to Michigan City, primarily people from the Chicagoland area. And then they're going to build a 50-unit complex apartments that they can't control who's going to live in those apartments because of federal programs.
Yeah, and so the point here in my mind is, would you want that in your neighborhood?
No.
If they come there and they said, hey, we're gonna knock down Edgewood School and we're gonna put in, now we're not gonna do this, but we're gonna take that field and we're gonna put apartments in, they would go ballistic. And Elston Grove spent a lot of money as a place for home ownership and neighborhood conduciveness and connectivity, and now we're gonna put in apartments. Does that fit?
Well, Tony, I've said so many times, the program that this city is enacting is so disjointed.
You're right. That's exactly where I was going.
It's just a quick diversion, very quickly. 31,000 square feet in 2 buildings, the old Woolworth building and SS Kresge next door, torn down for an open-air park. And in the paper several weeks ago, there was a comment, it was an interview, I guess, with our planning director, who said, yeah, we're gonna continue the project in a couple of years, 30 months.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it was in the paper. Wow. It's like me saying, well, I'm gonna change the oil in my car, and I drain the old oil out, and I say, well, I'll get to it next week. Normally, you don't start doing anything until you've got a start schedule and a completion
How long
schedule.
did he say?
30 months, it was in the paper.
So that's the next mayor.
Or right before election. So, again, you know, and the reason I mention that is because I just couldn't believe it. This double track thing that's gonna have a new station in Michigan City and supposed to bring hundreds of people over from Chicago to live here, within commuting distance from the train station, 4 blocks away, 7th Street to 11th Street, you had enough space in those 2 buildings that were definitely renovatable. You had enough room for 30 condos. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, what doesn't make sense to me, and I've said it before, and I think I don't think the double track is any good at all for Michigan City.
No, I don't
But
either.
it's great for LaPorte County. Those people who live in the county will drive here and park in this new parking garage or this nice secure lot, and they will take that train to Chicago. That's what's going to happen. That's what happens everywhere. They're not going to, oh, hey, Dwayne, there's a new double track. We could live in town. No, they're not moving here. This is, I looked, just before I came, I looked, Michigan City last year was number 2 in the highest taxing district in the county. Oh, let me see. I live in the county. Suppose I live in a township that's got a 1.3% tax rate. I would like to move to Michigan City with a 3.6% tax rate. That sounds really good to me. It's not going to happen. It's great for LaPorte County. It's bad for Michigan City. But okay, let's get back to Elston Grove. Elston Grove, single family. I know there's some gentrification going on. Some people are trying to move there and buy homes and rehabilitate them. We spend a lot of money. I personally think we could have spent that money buying or helping people buy homes and finance them if they fix them up. You said that before. If
Yeah.
we would pay people to fix up their homes, I think we'd be far better off. They would take ownership and pride and fix their home. So, I mean, is that where we're going to go?
I haven't heard anything about it. I've thought of a program to do that, to help homeowners, but I haven't heard of
Well, if you had-
anything down at the, at City Hall, coming out of City Hall.
If you had $20 million, that would probably help, right? I mean, you could easily
You could
take
do
how
what?
many homes there are and divide by 20 million and see what you think you would get. So, anything else about Elston Grove?
Well,
Elston Grove.
Why did you pick that number 20 million? Is it because we've had a conversation about how many loans Michigan City currently has in place for these show and tell projects?
We'll get there.
Okay,
We're gonna
okay,
get
I'll
there.
back off.
We'll get there. Okay, so we gotta move on. Interstate highways becoming toll roads. We all read in the paper, the legislature told INDOT, Indiana Department of Transportation, to do a study on tolling the interstates. We're talking 94, 65, 70, all the interstates through the state of Indiana. We all know, and we wanted to bring this up because we see that they're trying to fix the safety problem we have on 20. They did rumble strips. I thought they were working really well. We did have somebody just get killed. In my mind, and the numbers I've looked, these are INDOT traffic numbers, it is very obvious that the tolling, increased tolling on the toll road has run traffic over to 20. I've seen,
Yes.
last few weeks, I've seen double stacked or double trailered UPS, FedEx. Those people aren't on 20 because they want to be. They're on 20 because they're avoiding the toll road. So you're taking, and I haven't seen triple deckers because those are allowed on the toll road, but I've seen the double trailer. Taking a double trailer down 20.
It's just not gonna work.
It doesn't.
From a safety point of view, it's gonna create a lot more accidents from wear and tear on the highways. The state highways are not built to the same structural standards as the interstate. You put this heavy traffic on the state highways, and the maintenance cycle is gonna blossom beyond belief.
Yeah, and Highway 20, is an old wagon trail. Highway 20 is an old wagon trail, has been widened to 4 lanes. I think we've hit the critical point on how wide you can make it. So to go a little bit past what happened, and I read some documents, I brought this up on the show, and you can read those on the internet, the daily traffic counts or predictions that they did, we talked about those on Ohio Street, vary immensely. You can take daily traffics and predict the future. Some of those were off by 150%. So let's say the daily traffic loads are off that much in their study. Well, they have revenue streams, and these are potential probability. They had this, so they said, okay, the traffic accounts are not going to be that accurate. So what's the probability that if the traffic counts aren't accurate, how much money you make? It's an inverse curve. So they go from 40 to 54 million with a probability rating of 10% to 90%. So we have an 85% chance of toll revenue will exceed $39 billion in 29 years. And a 50% chance it exceeds $53 billion. Now, the question on the study is, like you said, how do you maintain the local state roads? Because now we're not talking about 20. Now we're talking about 43, 421, 31, which 31 has been advanced, and it's a lot less ability for traffic to get in and off it. We're talking about State Road 8, State Road 6, State Road 2.
Every state highway and U.S. highway in Indiana.
Yeah, every state road, the little state highways that are made for farmers and local traffic will be inundated. Some of them don't even have shoulders.
Yeah.
Some of them have big ditches on each side of them.
421's one of them.
Yeah, 421. Look how narrow 421. Look at the bridge by the toll road for the railroad. That thing is tiny.
Yeah.
Imagine what, 15, 20, 30, 50% increase in traffic?
I find it sadly amusing that these projections that you were talking about are strictly about potential revenue, but nothing about potential maintenance requirements.
Well, yeah, what are the maintenance requirements? That's a good point for these roads for the person who buys it. Now, the first person who leased the toll road went bankrupt because the projections must not have met the revenue streams that they actually saw. And now another person has bought it, which is really the same person if you look behind it. They bought it. Are their revenue projections going to work anymore? I'm just trying to file through it because I think in the article there was something about how many people would leave the interstates and drive on the local roads. They have most of this concerns with the federal highway, because the federal highway, tax money from each state goes to the Federal Highway Authority, and they disperse that back to the states for interstate maintenance and infrastructure improvements. And they tell them what they can or can't do with those federal dollars for the interstates. The Indiana just can't take that money and do what they want on the federal interstates. Those are controlled by the federal highway, and Indiana and every other state maintains them under their jurisdiction. So you have to ask permission from the federal highway if you're going to do anything on the toll roads, on the interstates, and make them tollways.
But it's not out of the question. They've done it in Chicago.
Yeah, they just did it in Chicago.
I-94 going up to Milwaukee turns into a toll road at the north end of Chicago. 294, another interstate, is toll road all the way from one end to the other. So it is definitely possible that this can be done.
Oh yeah, it's easy. It's the federal highway, and it says, okay, you can do it. My thinking is, if the federal highway said yes, wouldn't the federal highway want some money?
Yeah.
We always see that. I don't know.
Nothing's free.
Yeah, nothing's free. So when you get back to I can't find it in the study, how much money, how many people would leave the toll road and drive on local roads. I can't remember what it was. It's in the article, and I'm looking here and here. They had a number which I thought was demonstrably low. We saw that with the toll road lease. they took the toll road and they looked at historical numbers and they pushed them out over the next 75 years to see what the number of vehicles would be, if it was the same, and now we know that it's not near the same. The bleed off was way more than they ever expected. So the people left the toll road. So that's it. We got Highway 20, forget the toll road, we're getting on Highway 20. We could take 94, which kind of parallels the toll road, we could jump on 20, parallel that, we could parallel that all the way to the state line, see you later, goodbye. And so their projections were woefully inaccurate. I don't know what that does for the person who leased it. Maybe that's why the person who leased it the second time is the same person who leased it the first time, because they kind of bought a pig in a poke and they didn't get enough. They didn't get enough money back.
How do we stop this, Tony? Can we? Should people be contacting their state representative, their state senator?
I don't know what you say, because I mean, we had a gas tax for new maintenance.
And people complain about it.
People complained about it, went through, and it's still there.
Yeah.
We haven't had an election, so we don't know what that fallback's going to be. I did see where State Representative Todd Rokita is running against his other people in for the U.S. Senate, and one of the issues was brought up, but how many was it, 40, 43 or 47?
Different charges.
Different charge. He brought up that his opponent voted for it. So that's become an issue.
It'll be a campaign issue.
That is a campaign issue. And is that going to resonate? Will that stop discussion of the interstate? Because we're down this road. We are down this road. They paid for an analysis. INDOT paid a private consultant, I'm sure a very good sum of money. We're not just going to say, okay, we're all good. We thought about it. No good. Are they going to say that? I guess what's the chances of them saying it?
They wouldn't have brought the consultant in if they weren't dead serious about doing it.
Yeah, exactly. They're dead serious about doing this.
Indiana is extremely conscious about its finances. You can tell that. We're the only state in the Great Lakes, around the Great Lakes, that's in the black. With a $2 billion surplus, which is wonderful. They want more. They want a greater surplus. So this is reality coming our way.
The only way is you look at the 75-year toll lease. Okay, let's think of this mathematically, right? You take the 75 years that the toll lease and was $3.5 billion, and you divide 3.5 billion by 75 years by 3.5 billion. That's just your yearly cost. And then we take the number of deaths on Highway 20, and we figure how much each constituent in northern part of the state is worth. What's their life worth? Because that's what it costs. I don't have...
Tony, they're not going to do that. You know that, and I know that. It's life today. They're not going to do that. People will die. Many people will die because of this.
And how many? And we're seeing. We brought this up because I know that the Highway 20, the Renaissance Academy.
Oh.
Yeah, the Renaissance Academy where people got hurt and rear-ended and big, massive. And there hasn't been a pileup or a hurt out there lately.
Very congested.
Very congested. Those construction plans are being finalized for the turn lanes right there at that county road, and widen that out and give people a left turn lane. That should help things. So we know that those costs are high for a turn lane all the way through here. Maybe some of that money from the toll road should have spent up here instead of in Indianapolis. I mean, Indianapolis is beautiful. 3.5 billion. We saw those articles of how much money went to the Indianapolis area and how much money went to
it's a showcase.
Everyone else.
It's a showcase for the state.
So that's why I want to bring it up. Interstates, highways becoming toll roads. It's just, hate to be a told you so, but we have an example of what's going to happen right here in LaPorte County. We know for a fact what will happen. If we continue down this path, I feel sad for the rest of the state, the local, country, state highways will start feeling our pain.
Yeah.
And we say that with highest regard for the loss of life that will happen. And we won't realize it till it's too late. I don't know. I don't think, in my mind, I think it's a 30% chance they're going to do this, maybe 40. I still think it's above 50.
It's a sad situation, Tony. You can, government talks about dollars and cents and what they need and what they want, but for a family who's been affected, there's been so many families affected by automobile accident fatalities, and it's just
Yeah, we're talking about fatalities. We're not talking about all the accidents that happen, the loss of time and work and car and pain and suffering. We're not even talking about that.
My brother passed away at 21 in a vehicle accident, and my mother was never the same. And so I know what you're talking about, and it needs to be considered. We need to be...
And it needs to be part of the study.
Yes, it does. We need to have some compassion.
Because we have hard evidence, hard data to compare. Traffic counts on 20, traffic counts on toll road, the number of accidents and deaths. Very clear. It's very clear. If that was part of the study, honestly, I think we would have a good, honest answer. And I think the answer would be no.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So that's because you brought it up. Let's move on. Pedestrian safety in Michigan City.
And we're going to
It's a
talk
sad
about
topic.
this
We want to bring it up
until
every
we
time.
see some safe crosswalks.
Everywhere. Parks,
Everywhere.
schools,
Not just in
neighborhoods.
school zones, in neighborhoods where you have, I'll give you an example. We've got a lot of areas in Michigan City that need new sidewalks. We don't need sidewalks on both sides of the street. The purpose of a sidewalk is to keep people from walking in the road. People can walk on either side of the street. We need one nice sidewalk on every street, but where you have a crossing at an intersection, there needs to be protection for pedestrians.
There needs to be striped,
Absolutely.
it needs to be marked, it needs to be signed, it needs to be lit up. Now, we're talking street lights, we're talking the flashing signs. We want to bring this up because July 19th, that little girl got killed. It's been now 152 days of this taping. 152 days, and it's sad that we're expected just to forget about it. Let's just move on. They're working on it. They have a committee. They got people working on it. I hate to say it because let's dovetail into it. We have new people that were caucused in, and now the people that were on the committee are going to have to get on this other committee. Have to bring them up. We're going to hear. We have to bring them up to speed, and they got to have buy-in. We have capable employees who are good-hearted people who would do whatever they had to do if given the opportunity to make these intersect. If they said, we want your opinion, how much time is it going to take you as employees of Michigan City to fix these intersections? We're going to give you the equipment, we're going to give you the safety, we're going to send out people to help you. What would it take to get it done?
The city has the money. It doesn't have the priorities right.
Exactly.
I started looking at some information along that line, and well, what brought it to a head with me was the Ohio Street project. We've talked about that several times. The need, the way it's being approached. The Ohio Street project is an $8 million project so far. 11 million.
You got $1 million for NIPSCO.
11 million with financing. 3 million in interest.
12 million.
Michigan City is heavily, in my opinion, overextended. Currently, Michigan City has 10 loans in place. It sounds so harmless when you call it a bond. We're going to sell bonds rather than we're going to get loans.
It's a loan.
We all know what a loan is. You pay it back with interest. I looked at the state reports on finance for Michigan City. We took some bonds, even calling it a bond, if you add that it's 10% payback, that's terrible. Currently, Michigan City has 10 loans that are still active. They're going to be paid off somewhere between 2021 and 2040
Bring them out.
at a cost of $69 million, principal plus interest. $69 million. Our annual budget is in the 40s. 10.2 million of that is going to be interest. And I looked at just the period of this administration, 2012 to the next election, 2019. Michigan City is going to pay $10.2 million in interest. You get nothing for that.
Nope, zero.
May as well set it on fire. It'd be
Pile it
a
on and burn
wonderful 4th of July fire.
Go through the bonds. You know, first tell them where you get this from. They can all get this. Everyone can get this.
Just go on indiana.gov, go to the Department of Local Finance, and there's a link called Gateway. It's an information link. I'm talking about the projects, and it's not all this current administration's fault for taking on these projects, but the current debt needs to be considered before you take on new debt. Lafayette Barker Storm Sewer, a fiasco. Elston Grove, the Risky Ave project.
Wait a minute, go Barker Lafayette. I did a little research, pretty neat. You can type in Barker Lafayette Storm Sewer Tunnel, and the companies that did it, obviously they want to put on their websites and how great they are and how much they spent. The people that built it, the people that designed it, the numbers were far higher than I thought. I thought it was 8 million. I think I saw 10, 11, 12 million.
Oh, it's a $22 million project total. $22 million on a Lafayette Barker, which doesn't even work. It was capped off. It's a hole in the ground.
I've been wrong. I said 8 million. I was wrong. Wow. Don't want to be
Between
wrong.
2012 and 19, interest alone, and the payoff is going to be 2033. We'll pay off the loan on the Lafayette Barker Storm Sewer.
When?
2033, which is not even functioning. It's not functioning.
16 years, we're going to pay that off.
And between 2012 and 19, we're going to pay $2.6 million in interest on that loan.
For that pipe.
For that pipe that's in the ground. Elston Grove, Risky Ave.
What was Elston Grove?
We're going to pay $1.1 million in interest on Elston Grove. Bottom line, $8.5 million on that project.
Oh, I thought it was 20. I was wrong.
No, that's 20 is the Lafayette Barker.
Okay.
Risky Ave was a 1.8 million, pay off 2021. We're going to pay 2.7 million.
What was Risky Ave?
Risky Ave was not only the intersection of Risky and Springland, but from Michigan Boulevard north. It's all around the.
Oh, it was redone, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
It was all. You're right. It was all redone.
Cleveland.
How much did that cost?
1.8 million, pay off 2021. We haven't paid off 2021. Cleveland Ave was a 2.1 million.
Cleveland
And
Ave.
then we've refinanced some old bonds,
Cleveland Ave, 2.1 million.
2.1 million.
And how many businesses are on there? One?
One, I think.
One.
Yeah.
One. So that
And
didn't
then
work.
I don't understand this, existing bonds.
Well, the interest rate went way down.
Yeah, but like a car loan, any loan you take, initially your payment is 90% interest, 10% principal, or 95.5. With 2 or 3 years left on a loan, or even 5 years, when you're down to where the majority of your annual payment is interest, why would you refinance it and start all over at the beginning of a new cycle where your payment is 90% interest and 10% principal? That defies logic to me.
We'll have to look at that. Did they refinance and push it out another 20 years?
Well, yeah, they pushed it out.
That's wrong.
Get rid of the debt.
You just
If
pay
you
it?
have the money, get rid of the debt.
Oh, we got the money.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, well, no, three bonds that were refinanced. Then we have the Wabash Streetscape, 3.6
Yeah,
million,
that's brand new.
brand new Wabash Streetscape.
$3.6 million.
That's a 2040 payoff. It'll be paid off in 2040.
Wow.
And I'm sorry,
Wow, that's.
we can dump every cent we have. To me, Wabash Street doesn't look any different than it did before the project, outside of all of the flashing stop signs that stop you at every corner.
We could have cleaned that up and painted our own line for $3.6 million.
The bottom line, from my vantage point, is what needs to be done on Wabash to make it look fine is block out Lighthouse Mall, where when you look west from Wabash Street, you don't see dumpsters and air conditioning units because you're looking at the backside of stores. We need to plant a bunch of pine trees like they did at Bloxham. Build a big berm and plant some pine trees so you don't have to look at all of these utilities and dumpsters. But replacing the curbs and sidewalks did nothing for the beautification of Wabash.
I may be wrong, but I think that's the plan on 421 south of 20. That we want a frontage road and make all the businesses face the other way so all we see is the back.
Oh, God, I hope not. I
we're
haven't
going.
even looked at that.
That's where we're going.
Then there's a waterworks project, 11 million, water department, the police station.
Well, that was 11 million. Was that where they extended the pipe out? In the
Yeah, they extended our intake.
we needed that. I give
Yeah,
them
that was necessary.
Yeah, that was a serious problem.
That's going to be $750,000 interest on that.
That's interesting. Wait a
That
minute.
was
That's
11.
interesting. Okay, we gotta diverge a little bit. Don't lose your spot. Okay, so we had to extend the water pipe out further Lake Michigan because the sand was coming in there to the. And if you do a little research, and you can do this at home, there's a website, Indiana GIS Historical, where you can see where we built the lighthouse in 1908, and now the sand has been accreting behind it. So it had accreted so much that maybe the sand has accreted and it caused $11 million, so we had to extend the pipe out further. Anyway, go ahead.
Wouldn't it have been cheaper just to dredge it all out?
That's too much. That same sand created stop 2 and stop 3, and we got a big, huge beach out in front of Washington Park. That's a lot of sand. I don't want to talk heresy, but wouldn't it be cheaper to disconnect the last tier between the lighthouse and the walkway and let the sand go around and go back to Mount Baldy or the Hoosier Slide where it was? And maybe we don't get to walk out to the lighthouse and the beach, and we don't have to spend another $11 million to extend the pipe. What else do you got?
Well, that's it. Basically, I'm concerned looking at this that the city is getting extremely overextended in finance.
Because we're going to spend another
10
$8 million.
existing loans, 11 when they bond, which is a loan, the Ohio Street project, and that 10 million in interest will grow.
So let me get back to you.
$69 million.
Because you want to bring this on here, because why? Why did you want to bring this Ohio Street project on here?
It's unnecessary.
What are your chances that this thing will stop?
Oh, it's already been approved by, I think, the Board of Public Works to go out for bid.
And the
So-
bonds have been approved to be sold in January.
Yeah, so
We're done.
we're done.
11 million.
$11 million, another loan, $11 million, principal and interest.
Now, what we said before,
So that we can maintain an A+ bond rating.
well, the state has chosen to sunset TIF districts
Yes,
unless you rebond and create another 20-year, 30-year bond. Then you can't sunset it because it owes money. Well, is that what we're doing here? We're going to extend the TIF district on the south side. We already widened it, so now we're going to extend it.
at the expense of the taxpayer. Your money, my money, that's what this is.
So we got to pay interest.
That's taxpayer money.
We have to pay interest, and we don't receive any of the benefits of the tax rate being pushed back to the whole county. It's going to stay in the TIF district.
Yeah.
So you get a double whammy there. Oh, yeah, let's move on. Thanks for the, it didn't take you long, right?
No. Mm-mm.
You went to the
The
website?
information's all right there.
You go look for yourself.
Indiana.gov.
Now, before we move on, I understand LaPorte County, and let me say that I agree. When you look at south of 94 and 421, it's big open ground, fields, but they don't have sewer. Now, the Cool Spring School does have sewer. So there's discussion to create a TIF district and bond $1.7, $1.8 million to get sewer from that area under 94 and generally through Michigan City all the way down to the sewer treatment plant. So I don't agree with the 1.8 million. I've always said, why don't we just build our own sewer plant? Michigan City's expansion area at the sewer plant is very limited. And even if it was acceptable, do we want a sewer plant down there on the most important part of Michigan City, Trail Creek, boats, casino, beach. Do we want to keep the sewer district growing there? Doesn't make a bit of sense if you're looking at the future, but let's forget about that. So they're going to create a TIF district and a bond, a loan.
The county is.
The county. Think about creating a loan. I looked up, and I could be wrong, but you can look this up. You go to the Department of Local Government Finance, you click on LaPorte County, click on 2017, you can see the money. LaPorte County got, I believe, for $14 or $19 million from major moves. We got that money. We said that's our money. We're not going to share it, and we've been loaning it out for projects. I am not in favor of creating a TIF district to bring a bond or a loan when they have not gone first to the council, the county council, and says, why don't you loan us $1.8 million if we've got $5 million in the major moves fund? That's what it's for. Loan those people the $1.8 million. I'm not in favor of the 1.8. If it costs 5 or 7 or 8 or 10 million to build a plant, let's build it. Because then we could service everyone, probably all the way from the railroad tracks at the entrance to the toll road going north, 421. We know that's the expansion. In your time, you saw the expansion of Michigan City.
Yeah.
Now, pushing against 94. We've had a whole airport that's just, the thing is blowing up. It's so bad now we got Cleveland Avenue. We have to widen Ohio. It's gotten so good. We know it's going to jump across 94 into the county. The county's sitting on money. Now, so if it's 1.8 million, what's the interest rate? 700,000?
You're probably better with numbers than I am.
Say it's 700,000 in interest. That's money that, again, pile it up, burn it, it's gone, see you later. And it's a TIF district that's capturing money that's not going out to the county residents. Why wouldn't we loan ourselves the money and save $700,000?
Put it back in the community. Rebates to people, improve their homes, whether they want to do it for themselves, they want to do it as an investment.
Well, this one's simple because if the county's sitting on money, and either, like we complained, state's got $2 billion in rainy day funds. If the county's sitting on rainy day funds, and it ain't raining, right? It ain't raining right now, folks. The economy is as good as you're ever gonna see. It ain't raining. We can take that money and invest it for the next, I think if that takes off, there's a sewer line south of 94 and 421, I think that explodes in 5 years. You will see that money return to this county in 5 years. Fantastic investment. Can't ask for any better investment than that. We don't need to push it out to 20 years. Pay that thing off. Let's take that
Pay
investment.
your debt off.
Let's use our own money. So I wanted to bring that up because now the county's thinking about going down the same road, the same path that Michigan City thinks is a good idea. And here we are, how many millions and millions in loans? And how many millions?
$69 million.
And how many millions in interest that it just vanished, wiped away, see you later, gone.
And then on top, everything just doesn't mesh together. It doesn't make sense. Then when I was on the council, every time I turned around, there was another item on the agenda to give another tax abatement in Michigan City. That's our last topic.
Wait, let me digress a little bit here. I found it. I want to read you the thing from the interstate tolling. I found what this says. It's one little paragraph. It says, this report presents toll rates that balance revenue and mobility. Tolling an existing road has two fundamental impacts. Toll revenue will be generated, and number two, some portion of existing traffic will choose an alternative route. While higher toll rates can lead to higher revenue, they also lead to higher traffic diversion. Shifting too many vehicles off the interstate system can have significant implications for mobility on other roadways. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, that's it. 5 lines and that's it. Sorry people, you're going to get in accidents and die and oh well. And the other thing I want to bring up is it's pretty neat. They have a risk analysis, and they developed the range of values and applied the Monte Carlo simulation to the calculations. Huh, isn't that a gamble? The Monte Carlo simulation.
I don't even know what that is.
I know, but it sounds like a gamble to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. Michigan City's tax abatement program. Tell us, I know what it is.
Well, one in particular, there was I didn't have time to go back. The name of the company might not be stated exactly correct. I think it was something to the effect of Chicago Specialty Bottling Company. They bought a property on Kentucky Street that is directly a very nice sheet metal building, lots of square footage, directly across from the Central Maintenance Complex. And I drove by it many times wondering what it was because there's nobody in it. The windows were all broken out. Then they boarded them up, and I found out that that was the property that we gave a company a tax abatement on, and it never opened. The company never did any business out of that
Wait a
location.
minute, you were on the council on this one.
Yeah, I was on the council.
And they told you a great story, right?
We gave them, I think, it was either a 5 or 10 year tax abatement. We gave out more 10 years than we gave out 5, which I kind of had a concern about that.
So you gave it to this company. They bought a building, right?
Yep,
Where's this building?
directly across the street from Central Services, and it's up for sale again. So apparently,
Oh
oh yeah,
for sale.
oh, it's up for sale, yep.
So if you go down Kentucky, right? This is right across the street from Michigan City Central Services. So these are Michigan City employees every day looking at this, and it's not just boarded up, right? Windows broken,
Windows are boarded up.
run down. I think it's got some trees and brush growing around it.
Yeah,
If
needs a
this,
lot of work, cosmetically.
if this was, I don't know how to put this. If this was somebody else's building, we would see it on the Board of Works and it'd be condemning.
Good possibility, yeah, very good possibility.
So let's move on to the other one I want to bring up. I've been watching it, and I drive down there. Out there on the Boulevard and 8th. I remember what, a year ago, 2 years ago? I remember every 2 or 3 years I hear the same thing. The brewery.
The brewery, yep.
Nothing.
Nothing
Nothing.
happened on it.
And that place is definitely dangerous. Some of this,
Well, it's a
that wall fell down.
It's a multi-story building. In its day, years ago, there were businesses in that building. There was a men's clothing store, a restaurant. There were businesses. It was, as the title indicates, it was a brewery once upon a time. Very nice. Everything moved out. The late local architect Ken Fryer owned it. It was up for sale at a very high price, so it sat there and continued to deteriorate. And now I don't know what the future of the building is. It's there's a stairway tunnel to get up and a walkway entrance to the upper level, and it's cordoned off because I believe it's unsafe.
Well, a wall on 9th Street fell down like 8 months ago. The brick actually fell down on the sidewalk. The whole wall. They had roped off. It's sad that we hear about these things, and I hope you're with me. I applaud them trying, but hold their feet to the fire. We don't just let somebody, and I hate to bring it up again.
Basic tax finance, somebody's got to pay property taxes. If we give every business exemptions or reductions, then the little guy,
Wait a minute, they got tax abatement, so they haven't been paying taxes.
the little guy has to pay the taxes. We all have our taxes increased. The money's got to go from somewhere, come from somewhere. Right now, it's coming from the riverboat, but we're not handling that money very wisely. One of the first things I did when I got on the council was hung around City Hall and did a lot of research in the archives. The first year we had the riverboat, 1997, and in that first year, the city's budget went up 50%. It went up from 20 million to 30 million the first year we had the riverboat. Now, talking about a kid in a candy store, woo, we just, I could.
Unsustainable.
The city's records are unacceptable too. It's very hard to find anything more than minutes of Board of Public Works in the clerk's office in the vault, Board of Public Works and council meetings. The planning department keeps its own records. Other departments keep their own records. We don't have a central archive, which is pretty upsetting to think about it.
Yeah, this is kind of a round robin. I hate to bring it up, but we talk about the brewery, we talk about the bottling place, and we all know what they hit on for what, 3 years straight? The ice cream shop.
And it's still standing, and it's not open yet.
Yeah, they closed it in, and it looks nice. I mean, the ice cream shop's the best looking building out of the three. But where's that feet to the fire? It's just, are we expected to just forget about this stuff? Just go away? I mean...
The Board of Public Works was hot to trot to tear it down.
Every
And then all of a sudden it backfired, and I will plead guilty. I, for a while, wanted to tear it down to make a statement to these out-of-town developers, like O'Brien, who the city gave the Warren building to, under the condition that he would renovate the building, which he did not do. He put a couple windows in each year. See, I'm renovating it, so it continued to deteriorate. And I found out that there was a prominent local businessman who was involved in the ice cream parlor. Not originally, but as it struggled and became endangered, he stepped forward. He bought all the windows for it as an investment. We all would like to invest and make money, and I changed my position because I did not want to see a lifelong local business, Michigan City businessman damaged. I would rather penalize the developer, get in their pocket. You want to hurt somebody, get in their pocket. But to tear it down and really hurt a local Michigan City businessman, no.
Well,
I won't do that.
I was never for tearing it down. I thought it was a nice building, but I was for holding their feet to the fire. If it meant condemnation and getting somebody else in there to fix it, you use the bully pulpit to get something done. And that's why I wanted to bring it up again. It has gone by the wayside again, and hands off, and we're not pushing anymore. Push. We need that open. It could be a great little store or something down there. Just go.
This city needs to inflict accountability on property owners. That building that's a couple hundred feet down from the Franklin Street Highway 20 intersection on the north side. Someone said it was an office furniture factory or warehouse at one time. It's been sitting there unoccupied, deteriorating for as far back as I can remember. Accountability.
And Michigan City has code enforcement. You know, LaPorte County doesn't have a code enforcement officer, but our building commissioner and our inspectors in the plan commission and the building commission, they use their best force to go after people, and usually, you know what? They get it done. They fix it. They clean it up. If they know somebody is on them every week, we're not backing off. Get this thing cleaned up. We don't want you to tear it down. We just want you to clean it up, because cleaning it up is more tax revenue than tearing it down. I like the ice cream parlor. I think it's a beautiful little building. Let's just finish it.
It does enhance the look
It's
of the
nice. It's one of the nicer buildings down there. It's got a great location. Imagine if people would come over there and get some ice cream. It's not that far from the beach. You cross the bridge.
We want development, but we don't go about it right.
We want to finish development.
I have a concern in that area that eventually the old train station is going to be torn down.
Oh yeah, I want to
And
go
that's
there
a
next.
beautiful building. It's a beautiful historical building. When I was a kid, one of my aunts on my dad's side lived out in New Jersey, and she would come into Michigan City on a New York Central. We would pick her up there. And they got a nice ambiance. It's a beautiful station, but it doesn't fit in with some of the people in our government's vision of what they want there.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was going to be the next round robin building. I remember in the paper, these people bought it, and it was in the paper a couple times on how they were going to redevelop it. They're going to put this money. No, they weren't just buying it to make money. They were actually going to fix it up, and they have plans. And then what happened? What happened to that building?
I think there's a business operating out of it again.
Oh, the South Shore station? No, no.
Oh,
I'm talking-
no, the 11th
Oh, we're
Street
talking
station.
I'm talking 11th Street Station.
Oh, yeah,
What happened with that
nothing,
building?
it's.
No, what happened with it? We bought it.
Oh, yeah, Michigan City
Michigan
bought it.
City bought it.
Michigan City bought it. And then we're gonna tear it down.
Now, yeah, we're going to tear it down. And I've been waiting to bring this on the show because go there and eat a little. I guess we can't advertise for people, but I go there and get some food from the two people next to it. I looked at that building, and it looks like it's old Indiana limestone, the facade that somebody painted. I called Dwayne up. I'm like, did you realize? And I think he said, yeah, I knew that. Somebody painted the Indiana That's like
limestone.
going to the Michigan City courthouse and painting the limestone. That's like painting the LaPorte County courthouse. You don't. What in the world? Indiana limestone. We
There's
painted
no
it.
around the world, it's just.
Wow! So that building, right, is in the paper. We bought it. We're going to fix it up. We got a plan. We're knit by it, and then here we come. Redevelopment district, got the money. We're going to buy it, and they paid them substantial amount of money, substantial. And then here we go, round robin. Next one, Michigan City Chrysler. Drive by that.
Well, it's gone now, it's torn down.
We bought that, right?
Yep, we bought it.
We bought that redevelopment.
Michigan City owns so much property, it's mind-boggling. We're like land barons. And I know what's going to be said in response to what I just said. Well, a lot of it is easement, that it's the area between the sidewalk and the curb that might be 5 foot wide, in residential areas, might be 5 foot wide and 150, 200 feet long. Well, that's fine. Give it away. Give it to the property owner whose house is there.
They're maintaining it anyways.
They maintain it anyways. It helps the city. We don't have to maintain it. It adds to the value of their property. But get rid of the property that we own.
We only got a couple minutes, but I'm glad you dovetailed into that. You were on the council. You led that charge on this property that Michigan City owns, and can we sell it? Well, you took a lot of heat.
Yeah, we were criticized for that.
Oh, there's what, 2, 3, 4 of you.
Well, we put the responsibility for managing the activity on our city planner, which he had illusions of operating at a much higher level than that. So it fell into disrepair immediately, the program did.
So that was the round robin. You want to bring up Michigan City tax abatement and those are just things I know off the top of my head that we have not followed through and we choose not to. And again, we have good city employees. Given the opportunity, we'll do this. Let them do it. Ask them, how do you think we can follow through on this, and let them do it. We're already paying them. They're on the payroll.
Good.
So what do we got? Next, hopefully we're in the studio. If Andy was here, it'd be tell us 2 minutes. We got a couple more neighborhoods, I believe. We've been trying to track them. We've got some issues that were coming up that we're doing some more research on. What else we got for them? We're going to see what happens with.
We're going to stay on safety until something happens. Something good happens. Till we start seeing some crosswalks installed.
Yeah.
We're gonna stay on this.
One kid was killed, another was hurt at Marsh. Like you said, I don't want to see a third. There's no reason to see a third.
How many days did you say it's been?
It was, as of the taping of the show, which it's Thursday night, 152 days. You can go online, you type in the day, it's sad to see the article. Every time it breaks my heart to see the article. And then you can just go online and say, how many days since July 19th? Boom. Says, internet's great, it says 152 days.
Every day, those parents think about this.
We only got like a minute left. Any teasers for next week? Anything we're gonna...
I don't know, we've been flying by the seat of our pants here for a while. We'll have something good, guaranteed.
We got one more neighborhood. We got some more issues. We have to break out the issues that we've been avoiding because we just had enough time.
Well, we're going into a new year, so the council will be facing some new challenges. There'll be some more ideas coming out of the mayor's office, so I'm sure we'll have something to talk about.
Thanks, Alco, for everything you do.
And the
Hopefully-
county, we've got an election coming up next year, county election.
So let's hope the Alco helps us out in the editing. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
You bet. It's a Thursday before Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. See you next week.